Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on race 3 of our Cup Series career from Circuit of the Americas, where Toyota is going to be debuting their Garage 56 car that will be used in the NASCAR International Exhibition Series coming up this season. And I get to drive it around Circuit of the Americas to debut to the NASCAR fans. That's going to be super exciting as we're bringing in a level 3 all-around car here for Tricon Garage into this weekend. And on top of that, we are debuting our brand new sponsor, Boost Energy, which is coming on board as our personal sponsor for this season. And it's going to be an exciting weekend here. Of course, our first road course race as a full-time Cup driver. We've already done a road course race previously at Watkins Glen in our Cup Series debut. We aren't going to have the same success that we had in Watkins Glen because, well, we're racing a car that sucks. Even though we've upgraded it to level 3, it's still not going to be very fast. We're going to be struggling. We're probably going to run like absolute garbage down a straightaway, and that's probably where we're going to be losing time. That's really where we're going to be losing time for the majority of like the first half of the season for sure. Nonetheless, coming into practice here, and the road courses are like my favorite time of the season. I mean, for many reasons. I mean, of course, NASCAR is my favorite motorsport, but road course racing, I just love it so much. I mean, I love oval racing too, but I just as much love road course racing. And then on my wheel, getting to use my sequential shifter is always a lot of fun. Some people ask me what I use for my wheel and shifter. It's a Moza FSR wheel on a Moza R12 base, and the shifter is a sequential shifter from Moza as well. Speaking of Moza, unrelated though, Next Level Racing, I do have a 5% discount code you can use on their products. You see me sitting in their seat and rig right now, which is the GT Racer 2.0. Use my code GOIN5 for 5% discount in the description down below. But just don't drive like I am, because we actually had a nice little spin here in practice and definitely needed to make some adjustments in the transition from practice to qualifying. I was 8 seconds off in practice, and that was mainly because of my straightaway speed. We were slow as molasses down a straightaway. Road course favorite Shane Van Gisbergen in his first full-time season puts himself at the top of the board here in practice now as we come through into qualifying now, and you see the Boost Energy Toyota Camry here looking absolutely fantastic now as we were ready to hit the track now with full qualifying. Of course, we have group qualifying just like they have in real life as we were coming onto the track just behind the 41 of Cole Custer. This was Group 2 that we found ourselves in. So as we come through now to start our actual qualifying lap, I was hoping it would just going to be like a one and done kind of lap. And of course, if we're going to do a one and done, that means you need to absolutely knock it out of the park. Now for us, knocking it out of the park with Tricon Garage in the early days of this team is like top 30 laps. So if I feel like I've kind of run that kind of lap, I'm going to call it there, and you know, we'll focus in on the race. Now I did make some adjustments in between practice and qualifying, mainly just loosening the car up as we get through this little chicane, and you got to be really aggressive on track limits, but you can't overstep the line because you will get that track corner cut penalty, and you do not want that obviously because your car comes to a stop. So it's a super fine line to cut as far as you can. Just don't go over like a centimeter over and you're gonna get called for a track cut. So it's a really super tight line that you have to play against now as we come through the long sweeping right-hander here, and as we head towards now the penultimate left-hander, go down to second gear and try to hook this up over the curbing now, and you can go a lot wider, a little bit wider than what I just did, but I was playing it a little bit safe here now as we come through the final turn, and I was very happy with the lap that I ran. I'd said I don't think I could get a lot quicker than that. So as we get up through the gears to the line, it's a 1:43.1. That's not going to be good compared to the front runners, but that's just unfortunately the reality of this slow car, even with the upgrades. We go P12 in round 2, beating Nemechek, Custer, Haley, Jones, Herbst, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware, and BJ McLeod. But at the end of the qualifying, we end up 24th as Shane Van Gisbergen takes pole position here, and you see the rest of the top 10 up front as well. Christopher Bell, and I don't know what in the world's going on there. Maybe Bell ran a faster lap in the first round, and that's why he's like 0.3 quicker than SVG, and then the final round SVG went pole. I have no idea what's going on with the timing there, but nonetheless, qualifying's done. Sunday afternoon, before the race, I got to do something super cool with Toyota's program here with the Garage 56 car they are developing for the NASCAR International Exhibition Series. You're on board with me, absolutely ripping this thing around COTA for a demonstration to the fans around this track, and we're going to be competing, of course, in this series, and NASCAR would announce during this demonstration, on top of the 2 international exhibition races they'll be hosting later in the season, on top of that, they are now going to be debuting this car in this series at the Chicago Street Course race coming up here later in the season. They'll be doing a quick exhibition race there with myself and other Cup Series drivers as well. That is going to be super, super exciting. As we know, of course, NASCAR is going to be debuting these cars in the international stuff in Australia as well as Brazil later in the season. The Brazil date is actually going to be a doubleheader with Formula 1, and Australia will be with the Repco V8 supercars now. But that was it. We wrapped up our demonstration. It was literally just a couple of laps around the track, and the car sounds so nasty. It's absolutely awesome. But now it's time to go racing Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon, the black top's getting hot, 40 engines screaming for the one and only spot. Feel the thunder in your chest, the rumble in the ground. It's go time, light 'em up and let 'em roll. Green flags waving, lose your self-control. This is more than just a race, it's in our heart and soul.
It's time. We're ready to hit the grid here now from Circuit of the Americas, first of 5 road course races this season. We know this is going to be the difficult one for us, of course, with a new team, not very upgraded. It's the 4 road courses to come after this: Sonoma, Chicago, Watkins Glen, as well as Charlotte Roval, where we really look forward to showing our expertise. But we're going to do everything we can behind the wheel of this Boost Energy Toyota Camry here for Tricon Garage to get this team a solid finishing effort across 24 laps of racing here as we start the engines, and we are ready to go racing now alongside Daniel Suarez behind the number 6 of Brad Keselowski. Green flag is out. Shane Van Gisbergen and Christopher Bell lead the field to the green flag now as we head up the elevation towards turn 1. 5 laps in this opening stage here now, and things are going to get spicy into the first corner now. Bubba Wallace slows up early with Hocevar, and we've got cars fanning out now. 3, 4 wide we might see here on the opening lap now. We go around the outside of Connor Zilisch and the Red Bull number 87. He's committed to the first 3 races of the season with Trackhouse Racing now. He will not be in the next race, however, in Phoenix now as Keselowski's up my inside. But we have an absolutely brilliant start here now as we'll clear the Castrol Mustang for RFK now and jump up into P18 after qualifying 24th. An absolutely flawless start now as we're going to have to settle in behind the 87 of Connor Zilisch here now as we are going to tuck in just in front of that 6 now. Here we go, settling down in that 18th spot as we head into another braking zone. Of course, I mean, this is one of those road courses where there's just always something going on. You don't really have a lot of time to kind of focus in and breathe for a second. You're just always attacking corners outside of that front straightaway now, and honestly, that's something I love about this road course here from Circuit of the Americas as we continue now to roll up behind the 87 of Zilisch. Now we had that run-in with him in Atlanta where he turned us, and we give him a little bit of a shot to the left rear now, kind of just saying, hey, I'm still not a huge fan of what happened in that last episode now, but I kind of cost myself because here comes Keselowski up my inside. Bit of door-to-door contact there behind us. We've got his teammate of Ryan Preece, of course, new team, new landing spot for Preece this season after the shutdown of Stewart-Haas Racing. Look up ahead, Zilisch going for a move on his teammate of Ross Chastain. Can't quite pull it off as we come up to the end of lap 1. Now Joey Logano actually going to go around the outside of the 87, and this is where you're going to see the downside of this poorly upgraded car. We are super slow down the straightaways. I have to just get out of the way because look at how much speed these guys have down the straightaway. Kozlowski goes through. Here comes Ryan Priest into turn number 1 as well. Kozlowski goes around there, loses it under braking into turn 1. No caution. We stay green, and I am recording this on the new patch that just went out for the game a couple of days ago, and they finally have crashes at tracks we weren't getting crashes at before. I was not getting crashes at road course. I wasn't getting crashes at like flat tracks like Phoenix. Can confirm we got them at road courses now. We got them at tracks like Phoenix. Our races just got a lot more spicier and entertaining from this point on. Thank you to, of course, the iRacing Studios and Monster Games team for actually fixing that now. As you can see, the lap 3 starting the lap here, Bubba Wallace absolutely destroys me into turn 1. So we are going to bleed time just because of that long front straightaway all race long. Now, I can at least, after turn 1, I can hold my own. And not only can I hold my own, but I can also gain a little bit of time here and there as well throughout the rest of the lap, but it's just that front straightaway that's absolutely killing me. This is probably the second slowest area for me as well, so we are going to struggle like this for a lot of time this season. The team is spending a lot of money to upgrade the car, but obviously we're going to hit a flat line at some point where we have to build up more money and better finishing results, so but we're upgrading as quick as we can. So today is all about just trying to hang on, and honestly, I'm going to kind of be in the way on purpose to just try and hold up some guys that are going to absolutely dominate my pace on the straightaway. So Hocevar is able to get past me. See the Goodyear blimp in the top left? That's another thing they added as well, by the way, in the new update. So the Goodyear blimp has made it into NASCAR 25. As we come through, though, already to the final lap of the stage, Shane Van Gisbergen, after qualifying on pole, dominating here in stage 1. As here comes the 2 Discount Tire Ford Mustang of Austin Cindric now to my left side. Here comes John Hunter Nemechek as well, and they're going to pass me. Actually, Nemechek checks up early. Here comes Denny Hamlin in that national debt relief Toyota Camry just behind myself. Now, a few Toyotas back here, 22nd, 23rd, 24th as well, as we've settled in behind Cindric. We should be able to hang on here to P22 at least, which is still an improvement based off of what we qualified, but I mean, we got up to 18th after turn 1, and we've given up 4 positions, but it's still a net gain of 2 overall compared to where we started, as we just continue to kind of, you know, finish this lap off here now behind Cindric and Denny Hamlin, trying to put some pressure on myself, but Shane Van Gisbergen wins stage number 1. It should be Christopher Bell in P2. 10th place is about to cross the line well before we even get around the long right-hander right here, and that will end the stage. There it is. So we end up P22 here in stage number 1. Overall, happy with the handling of the car for the most part, but I was a little bit on the loose side, so I was considering making some adjustments here going into stage 2. We will not need to pit under green in stage 1 or 2, but stage 3 we will. But you can see I'm going to go up to 50 on the wedge. So I went down to 49 for qualifying, but I've gone back up now because it felt like it was a little bit too loose here. So we'll be restarting P22. I'm really hoping that we don't have to go green when I'm in the middle of the corner because it'll shoot me wide. Thank goodness we don't have to deal with that here. We're back underway now as we continue. Stage number 2 now underway. We got 1 extra lap of racing here compared to stage number 1 as we head up towards the elevation and see if we can make things happen now. Shane Van Gisbergen still leads now into the first corner. Some big checkups on the inside. I'm going a long way around the outside alongside the 87 Red Bull machine of Zilish. Actually, we're going to be wheel to wheel, and actually he runs into the side of us. He goes all the way to the curb where I already was, and that completely stalls my momentum. And this little beef we've got with the Connor Zilish continues on a little bit now as he goes wide. Lets Logano through, and now Priest has to check up. I hit the curb right there on the right side. That shot me up in the air a little bit now as we settle in behind the Columbia Camry of Bubba Wallace for 2311 now, and we've got some big checkups here now as I'm just trying to not run into the cars in front of me as there is some major checkups. We're going to slam into somebody at some point throughout this race in that same area on a restart. I already know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, not if, I think. Now as we've got Hocevar and Hamlin side by side behind us. A bit of a run on that Kroger Mustang of Priest. I'm going to look up the inside here into the braking zone. Can we get the job done? Move ourselves up into P19? The answer was no. We get too hard on the throttle. We go for a slide. We save it. We only give up one position, make that 3 as Hamlin and Gilliland try to come through. We are 3 wide here in Circuit of the Americas, and we'll settle in behind them and just got a little bit too aggressive, unfortunately, and I paid the price for it now. My own mistake, and yeah, I mean, I got got no one else to blame on that one other than myself. So as those guys would get in front of me, Hocevar actually drops back here to 22nd, and we have just kind of held on in 23rd at this point now, just trying to keep the 2 of Cindric behind us. He was the one, of course, that got past us at the end of stage 1, and we were able to kind of settle in behind him at that point. We've got a new leader, by the way, the 20 of Christopher Bell, currently out in front here from COTA. So SVG does have some competition here, it looks like now, and look at the run the 2 has, and actually the 7 of Haley is about to have a big run as well. I mean, I just can't really do anything about that. So Cindric goes through. Haley actually surprisingly doesn't really show the nose until it's too late, and I outbreak him into turn number 1, and I do take a bit of a defensive line there, kind of cross down to the inside as we go for a bit of a slide on the exit. Daniel Suarez had gotten past that 7 car, and now he was next up in line to try and run me down. Look how far the 2's driven away from me at this point on lap 4 of 6 in the stage. He's gotten right to the back of the 77 of Hocevar, so Cindric's got some solid speed here now, but the AI, they do have a really difficult time passing each other on these road courses. It's basically they get what they can on lap 1, and then outside of that, they don't really go anywhere. And that's not only a COTA thing, that's really a big-time road course thing in this game, as we continue now in 24th, just desperately trying to keep the 99 of Suarez behind me, but as we come through to 2 to go, I just can't defend that. I mean, look at that. So I really can't wait until we come back to the next road course, where we will definitely have a way more competitive car, and just about basically being patient and just getting strong finishing results at this point now, as I made a mistake of not changing the sponsor goal for the road course here, so we still have a top 25 sponsor goal. I was planning to change that after the super speedways, but we come to the final lap, and Austin Dillon is now past the 7 of Haley, and he is quickly rolling up to the back of my car, but we should be able to hang on to P25. Christopher Bell is already rounding the final turn down the front straightaway. Bell is going to take stage 2 over Shane Van Gisbergen, and now we just wait for 10th place to cross the line, which should be any moment now, as we are just trying to keep that 3 car behind us, waiting for the caution to come out, which should be like right about now. Waiting, please come out so I don't have to face pressure from the number 3, and there it is, P25 here in stage 2. Still, yeah, a lot of work to do, and really just a lot of survival to do now. I didn't really want to make any adjustments at this point because I felt like the car was driving okay, outside of my mistake that I made with a half spin, but we'll pit for tires. We'll also pit for some fuel, and yeah, everyone's going to do the same thing here now. As you can see, our tires were pretty worn as we get ready for the 3rd and final stage here from Circuit of the Americas. The sun now setting. Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen front row. Here we go. Green flag is back out. We kick off the final stage here from now lap 12. 24 laps of racing. We will have to pit here in this 3rd and final stage. Austin Cindric pulling to the inside. Is he going for a dive bomb move? No, he's going to break early behind the 60. We're going to just lunge it into the corner now and get ourselves right in the middle of 4 wide. Through turn 1, I think we're nearly 5 wide now as we're making contact with the 34. It's chaos, but we survive into P22. Could have gone through there a lot better. Daniel Suarez shoves his way through 3 wide through the middle right there and takes the position. Now the 60 checks up, and we're all just kind of right here on top of each other now. The final stage, you can tell the intensity is getting higher. It's chaos on this restart now. The 2 of Cindric to my right side. We make big contact there with the 2. Now as we slam into the back of the 99, there it was. We knew it was coming. Huge check up on our nose. Not much I could do about that one now, and I was pretty annoyed because that just caved in the front of this car, and I'm going for a lunge up the inside of Suarez. We've turned him sideways. We plow through the 99 freeway insurance Camaro, and that was just me getting really aggravated after what just happened, and I just kind of sent it off in there just trying to get what I could, and unfortunately I just plowed through. Well, as you guys know, Suarez, one of my favorite drivers, so not intentional to do that right there, as I would never just drive straight through my favorite drivers. So yeah, not what I wanted to do. It is what it is, and Suarez though is still going to win out as he's going to come around my outside. And yeah, I mean, what an absolute disaster class restart that was now, as we are just coming up to the halfway point of this race at this point. Suarez and myself continue side by side, beating doors right there, but he's going to get through out of the penultimate turn, and now he's going to take off. So as soon as they get clear for me, it's, yeah, they just take off. And here comes Kozlowski now, passing me as well. He's still recovering from that lap 2 spin. Now Cindric dives up my inside. Will be wheel to wheel on the exit of turn number 1. He's going to clear me on the way into the S's as we now drop to P26. You can see still struggling there with grip, and that opened the door for Hocevar to go up my inside now, so he takes another spot. P27, where does bleeding time, bleeding positions as Shane Van Gisbergen leads here in this final stage after taking the lead on the restart. Basically, it seems like whoever restarts P2 on the outside front row has the advantage into turn 1 and on the exit, and that's usually who gets the lead. And Van Gisbergen, of course, was in that position here for stage 3. Bell was in that position for stage 2, hence why he was able to take the lead and run away with the stage. Now I've got Eric Jones putting some pressure as you see me go really aggressive on defense there into turn 1. I was planning to just defend as hard as I could at this point. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes it just got too much speed for you to actually defend unless I just want to go on a huge block fest. So Jones does get us into turn 1. Stenhouse has a look, and now I cover that off pretty comfortably now as we've got Stenhouse and John Hunter Nemechek just behind. 10 laps to go at this point. We're not far away already from pit stops, and when you get to about 7 or 8 laps to go, you're officially in the field window of being able to make it to the end. So I was just trying to get to basically, you know, lap 16, lap 17, and know, okay, at that point on, we should be okay to pit really whenever we want as we come through to lap 16 later in the lap at this point now. And honestly, just waiting for the crew chief to kind of call us in, because they do call you in pretty early in road courses. There it is. They are calling us in for 1.5 cans of fuel, 4 tires. We're not going to repair the front end that's crumpled in because it's not severe damage. So we're going to come in and we'll get some adjustments here on this number 85 Tricon Garage Camry. It's now been a pretty race as we slide a little bit there coming into the pits now. We get down to pit speed there of 40 miles per hour into our pit box, and just hoping for a nice solid, you know, kind of mid 15-second pit stops, kind of what you aim for at this point now as the crew goes over to the left side, gets those good years off, gets another set back on, waiting for some fuel now as the jack drops, waiting, 15, 16, 1. Not what you want to see. Is we'll get back out though onto the racetrack. We're the only one that pitted, so now we got fresh rubber, we got a full extra lap here to push hard and hopefully gain some time.
Leaders in the pits.
I say gain some time, but we also know that, of course, the front straightaway speed's so slow that the guys are going to continue to gain time on me instead. Shane Van Gisbergen, pit from the lead. He is going to be the net leader. Here we go, now cycling out behind. Who did we lose out to? We lost out to the 42 of Nemechek and the 4 of Gregson. Hold on. Around the outside of Gregson. Jones in front of us. He's actually been able to pass Daniel Suarez in the pit. So Suarez kind of lost out a little bit now with less than 10 laps to go in this race. Now Bell has come into the pits, and whoever's in second is going to follow him through, so SVG will cycle back out to the lead here in just a few moments, and he's just hoping for a nice caution-free end to this race here now, as we have not seen any caution for cause at this point now. I know myself, I'm not going to be able to run down anybody out, so it's just defense over the cars behind at this point, as the pit cycle had officially run its course. We had gotten ourselves up to P29, and surprise, surprise, Shane Van Gisbergen did not cycle out to the lead. No, Christopher Bell would hang on. Bell is still out in front now. The 88 WeatherTech Camaro is on chase mode. He's got to go run down that 20 of Christopher Bell, as we are just hanging on at this point for P29. Coming to 4 laps to go in this race now, and we've still got Gregson behind us, as I'm just trying to keep him behind us now as we exit the corner. And you can see as well, I can't tell who's behind him, but he's getting closer nonetheless. The 4, we are going to be under pressure on the front straightaway, and I don't feel pretty confident at this point now that I'm going to be able to hold back the 4 for another, well, 3 laps when we come back around one more time. Now, fortunately for me, Gregson actually loses a position, so now I believe it's the, I still can't tell who that is behind us, honestly. That paint scheme I am not very familiar with, so we're just trying to hang on. Hold on, dive bomb coming up from behind us now, and actually on the exit of the corner, we're going to self-spin it. Around we go. That's the 38, actually, of Zane Smith that got up to me, and the caution is going to come out for a self-spin on relaxed cautions. They throw a caution for a single car spin at a road course. That makes no sense, but that's going to spice up the finish, unfortunately, and I just completely ruined my race just about there, as Christopher Bell is going to have the lead, but he might be at a disadvantage now into turn number 1. So, not what I wanted. We did not pit. 2 cars actually decide to pit, so they weren't confident they could make it on fuel. So as we go for the restart, we are going to be green in the middle of the corner, which unfortunately does that. It sends you way wide. Josh Berry and myself coming together, and we have 2 laps to go. NASCAR Cup Series overtime, and my goal is simple. I'm going to send it off into turn 1 after an absolute mess of a launch off the final turn right there to the back of Haley, and Barry will go 3 wide around the top. Big contact in front of us there. Chaos here into turn 1, and we make it stick there around Stenhouse, and we take P29 alongside Haley in that number 7 Spire Motorsports Camaro. Gregson side by side with Smith. Now Shane Van Gisbergen takes the lead on the restart now as he's going to try and run away. Smith side by side with Daniel Suarez now as we head towards a little short chute to the left here. Now we'll head down through the chicane. Try to not run into the back of anybody on this one. 3 wide around the outside. We are making it stink. We make it work there as we continue on, and way wide though, and that's going to give up more track position than we gain. Through goes Haley and Barry as well. Now as Eric Jones is now getting spun around by Suarez. Saves it in the 43 arm sideways into the side of the 21. Barry saves it as well. All out chaos in overtime here in COTA. Now we're beaten and banging with the fellow Rookie of the Year competitor of the 35 of Riley Herbst, and we've dropped down to P35 unfortunately as well, as now back up the inside of Cole Custer following Ty Dillon at this point. Now to the left side of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. barely clear of the 41, not quite. He fires back up the inside into the long sweeping right-hander. We'll try to cross him over and get the run, but getting a little bit tight through the center of the corner, not going to allow me to make a move here into the penultimate corner. Shane Van Gisbergen takes the final lap. He just wanted to see the white flag as I muscle my way to the inside of Custer. Kind of knocked him out of the way with the rear bumper there as we continue into the final turn side by side with the Haas Automation number 41 for the Haas factory team, clearing him out of the final turn, starting the final lap here from COTA. Now, just 1 lap to go, and we are going to have to defend like a lion. Here comes Herbst up my inside. I mean, I could have thrown a block on him, but I mean, that's just an unsportsmanship type of block there with that much of a speed difference. I'm going to try and make up the difference right here, sending it into turn 1 side by side with the 35. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I've self-spun again into the wall. That might be it. The caution might come out. Yep, it's over. That's an embarrassment. I'm so sorry, guys. You deserve way better. I mean, unbelievable. What do you even say? I embarrassed myself right there. Shane Van Gisbergen wins under caution, and I end up dead last. Yeah, no excuses. We are supposed to be good on these road courses. I mean, we were putting a decent race together right until the end, and I was trying too hard to make up for the lack of pace in the car. As you see the top 10 there, Bell, Briscoe, Elliott, Busher to follow, Van Gisbergen, Allmendinger, Byron, Reddick, Blaney, and Gibbs fill out the rest of the top 10, and Van Gisbergen joins Logano and Jones locked into the playoffs in the top 16, and Van Gisbergen actually at the top of the board with that now, and Priest the last driver in the playoffs. We have dropped quite a ways down the order now, waiting 29th in the points. Now, we're not looking too deep into the points because the first 3 races are just chaos, right? Super Speedway is the road course. After Phoenix and beyond, that's when we start taking a closer look. But we're going to hopefully get some more upgrades in this car to level 4 going into Phoenix. And now we can kind of settle in and focus on the bulk of the actual season where the normal ovals come in and try to move on from a disastrous end right there on Circuit of the Americas. Not proud of it. It wasn't pretty. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.